So, today we will be discussing the hydrometer analysis or the sedimentation analysis, and then we will be moving on to the consistency of clays. Last time we discussed how to remove the organic matter and calcium compounds while preparing the soil suspension for the sedimentation analysis. Because this soil suspension which we prepare here will be used for this sedimentation analysis. We have already discussed the pre-treatment, that is the removal of organic matter and calcium compounds, how it will be done. The organic matter will be removed by addition of hydrogen peroxide, and the calcium compounds which are sticky in nature are removed by addition of 0.02 NHCl, that is the hydrochloric acid. So, these are the 2 points. And for preparation of the soil suspension, a suitable amount of oven dried sample of soil, we are taking the oven dried sample of soil passing through 75 micron IS sieve, because the retained over 75 micron IS sieve has already been analyzed by sieve analysis. So, it is thoroughly mixed with water to prepare soil suspension of standard volume. What is the standard volume here? We will be discussing here, and see, for the pipette method, 12 to 30 grams of oven dried soil sample is mixed in water for preparation of 500 ml of soil suspension. So, here 12 to 30 gram is used, and for hydrometer method 24 to 60 grams of soil is used for preparing the soil suspension of 1000 ml. So, the volume of water, volume of the suspension that is prepared is 1000 ml. It is not the volume of water, it is the volume of suspension, that is 500 ml for pipette method and 1000 ml for the hydrometer method. Next, after the preparing of soil suspension, some dispersing agent or the deflocculating agents are added in order to prevent the agglomeration of the soil solids, which is referred to as post treatment. So, in the pre treatment also we did what? We did something which could have removed the discrete, which could have hindered in the discrete settling of the particles, that was the pre treatment, and it was removal of organic matter and the calcium compounds. But here in this we are adding it later on in the second stage, that is the post treatment. So, what are the commonly used deflocculating reagents? Those are sodium silicate, very first thing, sodium oxalate, then sodium polyphosphate, trisodium polyphosphate, tetrasodium pyrophosphate, sodium hexametaphosphate, that we have already used in the previous thing while we washed the, that we discussed in the sieve analysis when we washed the soil fraction. Now, as per IS 2720 in a standard code, 33 grams of sodium hexametaphosphate and 7 grams of calcium carbonate is added in 1 liter of water. So, what happens, and 25 ml of this water sample is added in the soil suspension. So, understand this 7th point, what happens here, that we take 1 liter of water, 1 liter of water here, and what do we do? 33 grams of hexametaphosphate, sodium hexametaphosphate, and 7 grams. So, in total we take what? 40 grams of some material that is having this dispersing reagent or the deflocculating reagent, and another is nothing but the calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is a type of it initiates the reaction here, and out of this 1 liter suspension which is prepared, we take out 25 ml and we use this thing out of this 1 liter entire. Now, sedimentation analysis can be carried out by 2 methods, that is pipette method, wherein the soil suspension prepared volume is 500 ml, and hydrometer method, wherein the soil suspension volume prepared is 1000 ml. In the hydrometer method, first of all, what is hydrometer and how does it take place? How do we analyze the soil fraction? Hydrometer is a device which is used to measure density of any suspension, and remember here that it is a property of this hydrometer that when it is prepared, what happens, the volume in ml of the hydrometer is approximately same as its mass. Let us say if the volume of hydrometer is 50 ml and the weight of this hydrometer will be 50 grams. So, the value is the same, and then volume of the hydrometer below the center of its bulb is 50% of total volume of hydrometer. We will be discussing, we will be seeing this in the figure. Now, second here, when we do the sedimentation analysis, here the hydrometer is calibrated first, and readings marked on the stem, that is the RH, we say RH here, are obtained by subtracting 1 from it and multiplying the remainder by 1000. We will be seeing this when we look onto the picture there. Now this MD is computed indirectly by noting the density of soil suspension at different sampling depth in given time. As some particles settle, the density of the solution will be changing. The sampling depth is increased with increase in time, and settlement of particles requiring calibration of hydrometer and sedimentation jar. So let us see here what happens. The very first point that we discussed, that if this is the hydrometer, so this volume below the center of the bulb, this is the bulb portion, this one here till this, and this is the stem portion, this upper part. So this volume is, let us say, V by 2, and the entire this volume is V by 2. So major portion is concentrated in the bottom. So when we insert this hydrometer in the soil suspension, what happens herein, the where is the center, this center of the bulb, what happens when we insert it in the liquid, when we drop it in a liquid, there in that place, if we take it as a liquid air, so this will come out, and wheresoever the center is there, at that point, at that very point, the density will be measured. So wheresoever the center stops, at that point we will be measuring the density of the soil suspension. Let us say if we placed it and the reading came out to be 10. So if reading is 10, so if we divide it by 1000 and then add 1 to it, so we will be getting the density of the soil suspension. Similarly, if we know the density already, what we will be doing, we will be subtracting 1 and then we will be multiplying it by 1000. So we get RH will be equal to 10. Let us take here what happens when we if we take this simple sedimentation jar, and if it is a starting position wherein nothing is there, there are 2 layers which we will take into consideration. When we place a hydrometer in it, what happens, some water rises. So this B rises to B1 and this A rises to somewhat greater height, that is A1. Here it is, volume is what, V by 2. So V by 2 upon Ag, the height rise will be what, H by 2, that is this height is what, H by 2, and the remaining thing here, because center of bulb is here and this center of bulb is where the density is being noted. So this is H by 2 and this is H by 2, and if this is the change, that is Vh upon 2 and then upon Aj, that is the cross sectional area of the sedimentation jar, and the rise in this A to A1 section, it will be slightly this much, Vh upon Aj. Now let us take H is length of hydrometer bulb, that is the smaller portion, the bulb, that is the lower portion, smaller portion, and Vh is the volume of hydrometer bulb. So the lower portion of the bulb is what, V by 2 and the upper portion is V by 2, the entire portion. So this part, this will be affected, the B to B1 thing will be affected by the V by 2 part. So let us see the effective, let us say this is the effective sampling depth or the sampling depth He, it is equal to see, this we are talking about this height. So we will be taking this Vh upon 2 Aj, this height, then we will take this H by 2 height, okay, then we take this H by 2 height, then we take this here to here, let us say this is H1 height, we have taken this H1 height where the new water level is there or the new suspension height is there. Now we have taken this amount extra, we have taken all this entire height and this height is extra. So we will be subtracting this portion, and Vh upon 2 Aj plus H by 2 then plus H1 minus this VH by Aj. When we subtract it, what we get? It is H1 plus half of H minus VH by Aj. Now what happens? For different values of RH, we get different sampling depths, and we will be calibrating this instantly, so that we can use it later on. The effective depth is the distance from the surface of the soil suspension at the level at which density of the soil suspension is being measured, where the center of the bulb is going to get stopped. At that point, at that thing from the surface, we will be measuring the effective depth. The size d of the particle that settles in the soil suspension by the distance of sampling depth is computed using Stokes' law, that is d is equal to k into root He by T. This Stokes' law we have already studied in the previous slides, and we note down RH by different values, and the He is being collaborated. This curve, this graph is available to you in when we do the experiment, and you will be simply using it for your experiment. Now let us get into the derivation of percentage finer. In that, in the previous one, in the sieve analysis, we did the percentage finer by simply cumulative percentage weight retained, and then we did that thing. But here we are adding so much thing into like dispersing agent. So how we will be analyzing it? Let us see here. Let MD dash, see here, let MD dash be the mass of solids per ml, that is 1 ml of soil suspension. We have already prepared a soil suspension, that I have told you how we did so many 7-8 steps, the pre-treatment, then the post-treatment. So that is what 1 ml of soil suspension it contains. Let MD dash be the mass of the solid at sampling depth He in given time t. Let us say what will be the volume of the solid. Volume will be MD dash by G into rho W. Then volume of soil suspension taken is what? 1 ml. So volume of water will be 1 minus MD dash by G rho W, because it will be solids and water. So total is what? 1, and if we subtract the solid, we will get the volume of water. 1 minus MD dash by G W, that is the solid portion, that is this much is the solids. If you talk about the mass, that is density is equal to mass upon volume. So mass of water will be equal to 1 minus MD dash by G rho W into the density of the water, and we already know that density of water is 1 gram per cc. So mass of water will be 1 minus MD dash by G. Now understand here, next step, at the mass of soil suspension is MD dash plus 1 minus MD dash by G, that is the solid portion and the water portion. So here we have taken the volume of the soil suspension, what? 1 ml. So if you know, very simple thing, that density is equal to mass upon volume. So density of the soil suspension is MD dash plus 1 minus MD dash by G upon 1. So it will be what? The same as the previous equation, and this is the density of the soil suspension which we have taken into consideration when the soil solids which have come out in the which have come out in the 1 ml of soil suspension. Also understand the density observed from the hydrometer, it would have been what? RH upon 1000 plus 1, which I told you in the previous one when we took the RH reading as 10 and then 10 upon 1000 plus 1, that was 1.010. And when we equate these two equations, this and equation this, what happens? MD dash is equal to RH, that we know already, and then specific gravity of soil solids, we will be knowing this, and this G is already known to us, and this is 1000. Now let us move on further, we will be continuing this derivation here. Let MD dash be the mass of the soil solids per ml of soil suspension, which we have taken here already, and M capital D here, see here capital D, it is the total mass of soil solids in the soil suspension, that is soil suspension is of 1 liter. What is the total amount of soil solids which is present in the 1 liter of soil suspension? Here we have considered the 1 ml only, but here MD, that is the total mass. So V is what? Volume of soil suspension prepared. For pipette analysis it is 500 ml, for hydrometer analysis it is 1000 ml. Now percentage finer will be given by the percentage, that is MD dash by V, V will be here 1 ml here. So, it is there was nothing written here because it was 1 ml, and then MD by V, that is M capital D, that is the total mass of the solids into 100%. Now, when we use the previous equation, that is MD dash value which we found out in terms of RH and G, we will be using that, and RH into G into 1000 by G minus 1 into MD into 1000, because this V is what 1000 ml. So, we will be using that thing also, that comes out to be 1000 here into 100%. So, the percentage finer, this will be important for you, that is 100 into RH into G by G minus 1 into MD. Now, RH to be used in the equation number 4 should be used after applying some corrections, because there is to be some meniscus correction, some temperature correction, and then some dispersing agent correction. So, the standard temperature is, let us say 27 degree Celsius. So, if the temperature is greater than or minus than the 27 degree Celsius, we will be using some different values, we will be applying some different corrections. Meniscus correction, because what happens if this is the jar and let us say this is the water level or the top, then this soil suspension is containing what? Soil, actually it is here, this water level is here, this point, but because of the opaqueness, because the soil is in suspension here, so we cannot see the actual values, actual points. So, we will not be able to see it. So, we will be noting down this one, that is this RH. So, we will be applying this portion, that is this correction, this portion here, that is an error. So, we will be applying this correction, that is the meniscus correction, and we have also added the dispersing agent to wash the soil solids and different things, so that to deflocculate. So, and also you know that after infinite time all the solids will settle down. So, at that time the RH will come out to be 0, and density of the soil suspension will be equal to the density of water. And the result of this particle size analysis is represented in the form of a curve termed as particle size distribution curve, which represents percentage finer on y axis and corresponding size of particle on x axis on a logarithmic scale. This curve helps in finding the type, size and gradation of the soil. You will also be using this when we discuss the topic, when we discuss the next topic, that is the Indian soil classification system. So, understand here, a well graded soil. What is a well graded soil? It has a good representation of grain sizes over a wide range and its gradation curve is smooth. We will be seeing what is a well graded soil. Then this, what is a poorly graded soil? The poorly graded soil has either an excess or deficiency of certain particle sizes or has most of the particles of the same size. If they are of same size, we will be calling it as uniformly graded soil. That is like if we talk about a school, it has some uniform. So, each and everything is like same, that is the uniform. So, here also if the particles are of the same size, we will be saying it as uniformly graded soil. What is a gap graded? Gap means there is some portion which is left out. So, a gap graded soil is the one in which some of the particles sizes are missing there. Let us see here. So, this soil, say this A, this is covering entire curve, okay. So, here this thing it is percentage finer, and on the x axis it is the particle size on the log scale. So, this A is the very much well graded soil, but if we talk about this is the particle range. If we talk about C, it is having some larger size of particle, larger size is there, but it is not containing this fine grain. So, it is well graded in this sand portion, in this portion, but if we take about this entire section, it will not be well graded soil. If we talk about sand, yes, it is very much well graded, because it is encompassing all the different sizes of the soil. Then if we see here this E1 to E2, this particle is missing, this size is missing, this size of particle is missing here. So, this one is the gap graded soil. If the curve goes flat somewhere, so that is the gap graded soil. And see this is B soil here, this is having just a straight one. So, it is having only one size of particle. So, this is also a poorly graded soil. Now, understand here, for the coarse grained soil, certain sizes of particles like D10, D30, D60 assumes higher significance than any other size of particle, as they help in analyzing the characteristics of the particle size distribution curve. We will be analyzing this curve in the later on section when we discuss the soil classification. And these factors, there are different factors, that is coefficient of uniformity and the coefficient of curvature, which is referred as shape parameters, that is Cu, that is D60 upon D10. This is the very first thing. For uniformly graded soil, the value of Cu is 1, almost equal to 1, I would say, and for well graded sand it is Cu is greater than 6, and for a well graded gravel it is Cu greater than 4. When we talk about the next shape factor or the shape parameter, it is representing the shape of the particles, coefficient of curvature. What is the curvature? So, it is D30 square upon D10 into D60. For a well graded soil, we are not talking about the sand or gravel here, we are talking about the entire range of soil. So, for well graded soil, Cc value lies between 1 and 3. For if the value does not lie between it, that is referred to as the poorly graded soil, that is the value is less than 1 or the value is greater than 3. So, what is D10, D30, D60? We have known from the curve that D10 is 10% of the sample is finer in weight than this. D10 is also known as effective size. So, if some problem is given wherein you know the effective size, that will be the value of D10. If we talk about D30, it is 30% of the sample which is finer in weight than that. Then D60 has that size of the particle wherein the 60% of the sample is finer in weight. Now, let us take a look at this numerical wherein 5 different particles are mixed in proportion shown below, and water is added to make the suspension exactly equal to 1000 cc. So, we can understand that soil suspension is equal to 1000 cc. The particles have a specific gravity of 2.65, that is G is given to you 2.65, and temperature of soil suspension was 25 degrees Celsius, at which dynamic viscosity, that is the value of nu is given to you 8.95 into 10 to the power minus 3 poise. The soil suspension was shaken and sedimentation was allowed. Now, see here, the particle sizes are given to you and the percentage, the weight is given. So, for this particle size it is 5 grams 0.020 mm, that is 15 grams 0.010, that is 20, 5 plus 15 plus 20 plus 4 plus 6, that is 20, 30, 40, 50, total that is 50 grams of soil that we have taken here. So, what is the largest particle size at a depth of 10 centimeters after 8 minutes of start of sedimentation, and percentage of particles finer than this size if reduced hydrometer readings at sampling depth of 10 centimeter. So, we will be discussing at a sampling depth of 10 centimeter. It was 24.5 and composite correction was found to be minus 2.5. Second is what is the specific gravity of the soil suspension at a sampling depth of 10 centimeters after 8 minutes of start of sedimentation. So, the third question here, how long after the start of the sedimentation will all the particles have settled down below the depth of 10 centimeter. So, we will be discussing here at a depth of 10 centimeters. So, see here, you already know that the settlement velocity is He by T, which is also given by Stokes law, G minus 1 gamma W into D square by 18 times mu. So, when we put the values here, this is 10 centimeters value, this is He, that is 10 centimeters, then into 10 to the power minus 2, so converted into meters, and then 8, that is 8 minutes time is given, so we converted into seconds into 60, then G is given to you 2.65, gamma W you know 9810, and then 18 into mu, that was given to be 8.95 into 10 to the minus 3 into 10 to the power minus 1, that is given here also. Then the diameter of the particle which comes out, that would have settled at the after 8 minutes time at a sampling depth of 10 centimeters, that would have been 0.014 mm. If we talk about the percentage finer, we will be taking the hydrometer reading and the formula which we have derived earlier, 100 into RH, that is we will be using the corrected value. So, RC into G upon G minus 1 into MD. So, the total weight of the soil taken is what? 50 grams, that we already added there, this 50. The composite correction, that means the correction is not given in terms of meniscus correction or temperature correction, these are different values here. So that is RC is equal to 22. By adding this correction, we applied this correction in the RH reading, that was 24.5. So when we apply this formula, the value we get here, that is percentage finer, is 70.67 percentage. This percentage finer is corresponding to this 0.014 mm. So remember this thing. Now the specific gravity of the soil suspension, that is equal to rho minus 1 into 1000, that we get the reading. So we will be using the corrected reading here, that is 22 rho minus 1 into 1000. So density will come out to be 1.022, and the specific gravity when you talk, it is rho upon rho W, density of water. Density of water we already know that it is 1 gram per cc. So the G value comes out to be 1.022. When we talk about this setting velocity, it is He by T. In the very third question, where we have to determine the time for a particle size of this much, particle size of this much, least size given in the data was see here, the least size given in the data was 0.001 here. So when we put the values here, and we have to determine at what time will this size of particle get to settle down below the depth of 10 centimeters. Let us say this is the sedimentation jar, and let us say this is 10 centimeters here from the top. This 0.001 mm size of particle, when will it settle down? And at this 10 centimeters depth. So for that we will be applying the Stokes law, and it is the 10 centimeter sampling depth which we are considering. Then G is 2.65, then gamma W is 9810, and then 18 times mu, 18 into 8.95 into 10 to the power minus 3 into 10 to the power minus 1, because it was in poise, so we converted into a different parameter. Then T is equal to 99527 seconds, that is 27 hours 38 minutes. So it will take this much time for the smallest size of particle. So let us say if this smallest size particle gets settled down here, so what happens? This entire portion will be now clear, and this will be having nothing but water, only and only water. It will be clear water, there will be no soil here. So that will be the time which is being taken for a depth of 10 centimeters. So now for this consistency we will be moving on to the next lecture, we will be discussing it in the next lecture. Thank you.